Hey everybody, my name is Russ and welcome back to a 4th of July edition of Smokes A Rollin'. Today what I'm going to be doing for this 4th of July is breaking out the Weber Smoky Mountain 22.5 inch and be cooking up some spare ribs that I'm going to trim down into St. Louis style cuts. So I hope you all stick around. I'm going to walk you through the process as I go, and this is going to be fun. It's highly requested in my house. We love our ribs around here, man. So stick around and join us on this 4th of July edition of Smokes A Rollin'. And let's do some ribs, man. Sounds awesome. These are going to be dry rub only. They're not going to be barbecued. I'm going to set the barbecue sauce off to the side. It's kind of a family choice right there. So that's what we're doing. Stick around, y'all. See you in a bit. Alright everybody, I've already taken the liberty of trimming these into St. Louis style ribs. I was going to do that on film, but I had a bear of a time with these ribs, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes everything comes out just fine. One thing I would say though, right here, the other portion of the ribs that I've cut off, this long strip right here is called your rib tips, or your tenderloin of sorts. You don't have to throw that away. It's actually really good, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting those in the freezer and cooking those at a later date. So what I've got going on here is I'm going to take some of this House of Sang stir fry oil. I don't know if y'all can see that. Stir fry oil. I'm going to sprinkle that liberally on both sides. Rub it in. I'm going to use this as a binder. This stuff is so tasty. It's got garlic, cilantro. It's got some flavor to it. I can't find it at my local stores. Imagine that. I end up having to drive about 50 miles to get it. So, just a nice little coat. It's going to infuse some of that garlic flavor and that oil on there. And I'm using this as a binder for my dry rub. My dry rub, honestly, I'm a big fan of Rendezvous seasoning. And when Walmart here in our town, when I saw that they had been selling it, I bought every jar they had. Then when I ran out, guess who stopped selling it? Imagine that as well. So I went to AmazingRibs.com, and he's got a knockoff or a clone of this recipe for this dry rub. And after I put it together and bought all the ingredients and got to put it together the way that he had said to do it, it just still wasn't right, so I had to keep fiddling and fussing with it. But you can go to AmazingRibs.com and check out his clone recipe for it. But what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is just liberally sprinkle this on here. I'm going to get every part of it. And what I like to do, I don't like to overdo it at first, because every time that I go to add moisture to this, I'm going to add more of this dry rub. And what that does is just builds up that flavor, gives it an excellent bark. Make sure you get the sides on this as well. But it gives it an excellent bark, it gives it an excellent flavor, gives it excellent color. Spin this around here. It's just fantastic stuff, y'all. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sprinkle this on here on all sides right quick. And these spare ribs are smaller than I'd like. They're about, when I bought them, they were about 4.5 pounds a piece. I prefer about 6. So they're a little thinner. They're going to cook a little faster. You hear a lot of people saying about the 3-2-1 method. And trust me, that's not going to happen with this cook today. These are going to be done long before that. So what I'll probably do is smoke them for the first couple hours. And then I'm going to go ahead and foil them. I prefer to foil mine. I'm no competition smoker, but world champions foil. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a quick rub in. I'm gonna let this set up for about half hour, 45 minutes. Let it all come to room temperature and what have you. Yeah, a quick little sprinkle right there and right there. And down here. And I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna take y'all with me outside. We're gonna get that Weber Smoky Mountain 22.5 inch fired up. We'll be back in a bit. Alright everybody, I've got the bottom of my Weber Smoky Mountain 22.5 inch loaded with Rockwood lump charcoal, and I gotta be honest with you, it is the best lump charcoal I have ever used. It burns hot, it burns long, very little ash, very little pop, very little snap. Just actual all-around great hardwood lump charcoal. It's got actual hardwood in it. I've seen some brands of lump charcoal, I'm not going to mention any names, I'm sure you all have used them at some point, that have insulation, rock, everything else. No, not this stuff. This is actual hardwood lump charcoal. Also in the bottom of there, I've got 9 pieces of apple wood. I highly recommend apple wood or cherry when you're smoking pork. It just emits an amazing flavor to it. So that's what I've got going on there. So I'm gonna get this lit up and we'll be back. All right everybody, my temperature's coming up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right now it's at about 200 degrees. My target temperature is between 225 and 250. And on these Weber Smoky Mountains, actually where the temperature gauge is right here, you want it to read about 50 degrees above your target temperature on this gauge. That'll basically give you a readout of what is going on your actual grilling rack in there, or your smoking rack. So I'm going to shoot to get this up to about 275 thereabouts, try to keep it in that range, 275 to 300, but she's getting there. So once that hits my target temperature, I'll get it choked off to where I can keep it there, and I'll get those racks of ribs on there. So stick around, we'll be back. Alright everybody, I've got my Smoky Mountain up to about 220 degrees right now. I'm going to go ahead and throw these ribs on here. Rack number 1 down. Rack number 2 on. I'm going to let those go for about 2 hours. Then I'm going to check them. Like I said, since they're so small, I don't want to overdo them. And then we'll be back with the next step. Stick around, y'all. Alright everybody, we're at the 30-minute mark in this smoke. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is add what I consider moisturizer. This is my favorite way to do it. Parquet squeeze. It'll come out. It's still cold yet. That's how I do that. My temperature right now is holding steady at 225, which is perfect. That's exactly where I want it. Like I said, we're half an hour into this. I'm going to get that lid back on there, and in about 10 more minutes, I'm going to pull that lid back off. I'm going to sprinkle some more dry rub on there, so stick around, y'all. Alright everybody, as promised, it's been about 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is just put another nice light coat of this dry rub on these ribs. Just like that. Don't get too fancy with it. Don't get too harsh with it, because you're going to be adding more as you go. At least that's how I do it anyway. But so there you go. We'll be back in a bit. So stick around, y'all. All right, y'all. It's been another half an hour. I'm going to go ahead and give this another dose of the Parquet. Damn flies. Just like that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of this fake rendezvous seasoning on here again, just right quick. Since I've got it open, I don't want to open it too much because I don't want to lose too much heat. So looking good. This one here is obviously the smaller one. That's the bigger one. This one here is already starting to pull back on the bone. I'm not sure if I like that, but just kind of the way it goes. So put that lid back on there just like so, and we'll be back after a while, y'all. Alright everybody, it's been about 2 hours now on the smoker, and it's starting to form a nice mahogany color. Really good look. It's at this point that you know it's time to pull these off the smoker. And like I say, what I'd like to do is wrap them. These are really starting to pull away from the bone pretty darn quickly. But what I'm going to go ahead and do now, set these aside. And I've got some tin foil here. I'm going to go ahead and take one of these racks. I'm going to set it meat side up. And then what I'm going to do is take some brown sugar. Hope you can see that with my arm being in the way. I'm going to take some brown sugar. I'm going to pour on a little bit more of this spread, this Parquet. Locally grown honey. Spread it nice and even just like that. Then I'm going to come back with some more of my rub. Just like that. We'll flip it over. Wipe my hands off. And do the exact same thing on the other side. Brown sugar. This rub does have a little bit of a kick to it, so this brown sugar is just going to complement it with a little bit of sweetness. Boy, I wish these ribs were bigger. Just like that. Honey. Squeeze butter. And the homemade rub. just like that. I'm gonna wrap this. I'm using heavy duty aluminum foil. You gotta use heavy duty aluminum foil because these bones have a tendency to poke through. So I'm gonna wrap it just like that. I don't want it too tight, but I don't want it too loose either. I'm gonna bring in the ends like this, just like that. And the way they're sitting now with the meat side down, that's how they're gonna go back on the smoker. All right, so I'm gonna do this other one up and we'll be back. All right, y'all, we're back out here to the Weber Smoky Mountain. And like I said, you want the meat side down when you put these back on the grill. Okay, just like that. Just like that. Now I learned this technique from Malcolm Reed. Not only him, but Johnny Trigg, yes. But man, those guys, they've been in competition barbecue for a long time, and they've been successful. So why not copy what they do? But anyway, this is how I do it. I do it the meat side down. We're going to let that go for about another 45 minutes to an hour like that. And then we'll be back. Y'all stick around. Alright, y'all, we're about an hour into this cook in the foil. I'm going to peel this aside and take a look at what we got going on here. Alright. Now you all can see that I have not added any moisture to these ribs whatsoever. None. And look what's came out of it. Other than, well, obviously the honey and the butter. But look at that. Do you see that? That is pure juice. And that is why I beg and plead with you to put the meat side down in this foil. That juice is natural coming out of these ribs. And it soaks right back into the meat. And it makes this meat absolutely delicious. So I'm going to go ahead, cover this back up. Open this other one, see how it looks. You know, one of these days you'll think that I would start wearing hot gloves or hot pads or something, but you know, I mean, look at that. That meat is just totally pulling off the bone. That's why I want thicker, bigger ribs. That might almost be too much, but I mean, just look at that. Look at the juices that are running in there. All right, so what I'm going to do, wrap these back up for now, just for a few minutes. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to get my spatula, and we'll be back with the next step, y'all. This is awesome, man. Stick around and see you in a bit. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and open these up. Sweet. That is hot. Man, if you could smell this right now. Holy Mary, Mother of God, does that smell good. Oh, look at that. Yep, see, those are done. When that bone falls right out just like that, whew, they are done. What I'm going to do, or attempt to do anyway, is put these ribs meat side back up. Look at the color on that. Would you just look at the color on that? Get rid of this. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, y'all, for about the last, I'm going to go about 15 more minutes here. But what I want to do, sprinkle a little bit more dry rub on there. Like I said, I'm just trying to build flavor on these. I don't want a whole lot. That's about what I want right there. So, in about 15 minutes and we'll be back. We're going to pull these suckers off and get them inside, get them cut up, and oops, here's the camera. And we're going to do a taste test on them, y'all. So, stick around, y'all. Alright y'all, we're back, and these ribs are done. I found that the best way to slice these ribs, because sometimes you got bones that are straight, sometimes they kind of veer off and what have you, but I found the best way to slice these ribs, turn those suckers upside down just like that. Obviously it's, with the fact that these are small ribs, it's pretty obvious where you can cut when you do that. So what I'm going to do, and you usually get your best ribs from the center portion of the rib. So what I'm going to do, slice down here, right between those bones. Right down here. Down here. And what the heck, we're going to do one right over here too. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, y'all, but look at that smoke ring right there. That just looks absolutely fantastic. You gotta love that stuff. We'll be back in a minute, y'all. Alright, y'all, we're gonna take a taste of these ribs. They're looking pretty damn spectacular. Ready? Oh my God. These are so good, man. You can see that the ribs, this is what you want when you bite into ribs. You can see that the rib, when I bit into this rib, it held the crescent shape of my mouth. These are freaking spectacular, y'all. My goodness, man. They're not falling off the bone. They're perfectly done. This is exactly how you want it. Those, my friends, are amazing. Happy 4th of July, y'all. Try this rib recipe out. Now, before I'm done, I don't know if y'all can see my shirt right now, but I won this from Smoky Ribs. And I gotta be honest with you. When I first started getting, or wanting to do videos for cooking, there's just a handful of people that I really watched. But I've got to tell you all, and please do this, you have got to check out Smoky Ribs on YouTube. The guy's phenomenal. Such a great guy. Very personable, nice, easy to watch on YouTube. Has some killer recipes. The dude is fantastic. He's got over 8,000 subscribers right now, and he's shooting for 10,000. And I don't even have 100 yet. But I've got a lot of friends on Facebook. I've got a lot of friends, period. You've got to check out Russ at Smoky Ribs. He's phenomenal. When I first started wanting to do this, I had a handful of people that I really enjoyed watching. Barbecue Pit Boys, Smoky Goodness, John Setzler. When at the time he was at Man Cave Meals, he is now at Kamado Joe, and Smoky Ribs. I found Smoky Ribs through John Setzler at his Man Cave Meals, which is no longer there. He is now with Kamado Joe. Russ, I hope you're watching this. I gotta tell you right now, there is not one plate that you've ever plated up that I wouldn't dive into in a heartbeat. Everything you have cooked is spectacular. Bingo and on the money. And I'm wearing your shirt that I won from you. And I'm telling you right now, I wear this with pride. You're a great man, you're a great cook, and you're fun to watch. And we love you, brother. I know you guys had some difficulties during Father's Day weekend, and between my wife, my kids, and I, we sent out our love and our best wishes to you. And I know it's still hard, but you got to know that you've got excellent friends that are backing you, and we appreciate you guys so much. We appreciate you and Tarina so much. But hey, on a lighter note, these smoky ribs are for you, Russ. So cheers, brother. We love you guys. Can't wait to see what else you've got in store. You rock. You're the best there is that I've seen on YouTube. So I'm going to wrap this up right quick, but rock on, you guys. Enjoy these ribs. Check out Amazing Ribs for the rendezvous seasoning. Trust me, you're going to have to do it right yourself. But anyway, check it out. These ribs are killer. We'll see you next time. Smokes are rolling.